Okay, I've started cleaning the bits up with thinners, and so we're doing the inspection part of the job. So what we were saying earlier was that you only really get signs of wear in the middle of the travel, which would be obviously between those 2 points, and sure enough there is a little bit of a shine to the finish. I mean, the rest of that shaft is just machine finished, and just there you've got a shine to it. Doesn't actually look worn as much as it doesn't actually look worn, but it's just shined up. You can't feel anything in your fingertip. So, but like I say, this rack didn't have a lot of play in it anyway. It had a little bit, but certainly not a lot. If there's no play at all, you won't be able to turn the bloody steering wheel, yeah. So, anyway, so that's where that little bit of play is coming from, I reckon. It is tiny. Literally, you can just see the shine in the metal. The pinion itself is awesome. Nothing, no real signs of anything untoward there. You can see the blue in where they've heat treated the teeth. You see that on there. So we'll carry on with cleaning, and then I'll show you anything else. Okay, we've got everything cleaned up, ready to go back together. It's all clean, no dirt anywhere, and clean and dry and whatever. So the inspection should come next, really. So we're looking for any excessive wear anywhere, obviously. Important bits are these on the ball and swivel, that it's been retained firmly enough in the ball, in the socket. So just gonna, you want to see a good amount of hold on the ball. You know, if we're charging around the country lanes with the old Vincent, we don't want the ball pulling out the socket. And you can see it's perfectly round still. You know, there's telltale signs that it's starting to go egg-shaped or showing more signs of wear. But this one looks good. Again, you can still see some machining marks down in the bottom. It's just a bit shiny in places. But that's natural, isn't it? So it's all good. The ball still looks round. Again, there's telltale signs of machining marks still, but in the places there's some shining. The shining is obviously where it's been wearing away and jiggling about, so it's shined up. But you know, I can't feel it even, so it's minimal amount of wear. And all the threads are good. This is the tensioner for the back of the pinion, to push the rack onto the back of the pinion. There is a groove in it, but you can hear it. But again, most of the machine marks there, that might be just a fault from the factory. Again, most of the machine marks are there. So it's looking good. The pinion, exactly the same thing again. Machining marks are present, and most of it is shiny. It is shiny in places, but again, I can't even detect it. If I was to close my eyes, I wouldn't feel it. So it's just a run-of-the-mill average amount of wear. There is a little step there where the seal runs, which isn't good. And I notice that on here, wherever it is there's some watermarks. This is below the seal line, so It has obviously had some water ingress, so we'll change. We do definitely need to change. There's an O-ring in the top, so we'll definitely change that. But otherwise, and it's worn, but it's not excessively worn, if that makes any sense. It's fine to use again, serviceable. All the springs are intact, so good to go, I'd say. Shims are there, so yeah, we'll start putting it back together. Final thing to check is the in the end of this the non-drive end of the tube, the housing. There's a I like to call them an oil light bushing. You can see all the little pimples in it that are there to collect grease and sit grease in. There's no real visible signs of wear. Well, I'm going to use a little brush as a grease dabber. I've got a nice pot of lovely clean grease. I'm going to go for a little slip ring that goes into the bottom of the housing first. And grease the granny out of it. I'll use my brush to drop it in there as well. You can always wipe the grease off afterwards. So that's in first. Then we've got to drop in the rack. Just going to fill all the teeth right up, then all it doesn't feel like it needs, it can get rid of on its own steam, if that makes sense. You're going to get this thing where some of it gets scraped off as it goes in, but there's not an awful lot you can do about that. Just try and get as much in as you can, and then clean up what comes out afterwards, you know. Too excited about the middle part of it, just do two ends so that it's where it's going to be rubbing. One on that bush that's on the end of the tube, and one up the other end by the pinion. So I'm pretty sure we've got to slide the bugger in now and then drop the pinion in afterwards. But like I say, remembering to get that slip ring in first, which we have. We've got that in, so and hopefully this little rascal should just drop in now, and I can stack all the shims and stuff on the other side afterwards. Again, I'm going to fill it up all the valleys of the teeth with the grease, and then it can squeeze out what it doesn't want. and it can just sit in the housing. It's not going to be a problem. I'd rather do it this way than not get enough in there. Okay, so that's in. Another slip ring. It's on top next. You've got another shim pack, which is the big spacer. You'll see it's got the block on it for drag and grease round. Okay, we've got 3 shims. We'll have to get it all together and see what it feels like once it's all together before we decide whether that's enough or too many shims. And then we've got the little seal pack, which I need to change the O-ring in, so we've got a bumblebee. All out bumblebee. It's just an O-ring, so we'll just drop that O-ring out. We've got a new one, looks lucky. See, this one's got a little keyway in it. There's also a tiny little pin there that okay, so I'm not sure you're going to see it, but there's a little pin there that'll drop in afterwards. That's just to stop that spinning, the seal pack spinning around. You feel that seal tighter on there already, so that's good. Drop that in there now. The circle up hold that in, so. just going to use a socket, just tap that down just to make sure it clips in. Yeah, it's dropped in there alright, so that's cool. It's feeling quite nice so far. Just drop the socket into it just to make sure it's down and in, and make sure it's expanded. Okay, then we've got this. It pushes on the back of the rack, gives it its tension in the back here. Now this, I was a little bit surprised to see, but it's typical of a fix, I guess. If there's a bit of play, then there's maybe a chance that this is a reconditioned steering rack. And if there's some play in there, then you just you can add a spring to it just to tension it up a bit more. It acts as a shim at the end of the day, doesn't it? So we'll put it in anyway, so it's with it. The simplest way really is would have been just to leave the shims out. It's got a load of shims, well, 3 shims. So and one of them's split, which is a really thin one. Which feels like a couple of thou. So we'll leave that one out anyway, and see what it feels like. I think we'll put the other 2 in. I want to be able to turn it reasonably nicely with a pair of mole grips on the spline. It wants to be tight. It doesn't want to be too tight. You can, if you want to. You can see it's got a brass bolt in it. You can take that out and put a grease nipple on it, and just get some grease into it if you want to. Yeah, it's too tight for fingers, which is good. Not bad actually. It's not mega loose, but it's not mega tight either, so I like that. Feels okay. Anyway, we'll work a bit more grease into it anyway. It does feel nice and smooth, so that's good. So all we've got now is the 2 end caps, 2 track rods. So I just want to do this one here whilst I'm at it, whilst I'm there. So we got cup and a shim, lock washer. I've just hammered flat again. They're not ripped or damaged, so that's okay. And then the actual housing for the tensioner and the ball. So we're going to get loads in the socket. glad I've done this now. I saw the rack, the gators being split like that. Doesn't do them a lot of good. It would have been if you could have just changed the gators, but there's quite a good chance there could have been some grit and crap in there. So. Can't pick it up, my fingers are blooding. Give it a little piece of grease. Shim. Make sure it's all seated in there. Lock tab on there. I'll drop this out a minute just so I can definitely tighten them up. Feels pretty good without any spring tension on it. Give it a bit more tension. If it still doesn't feel very tight, then we can do what they've done before, which was to stick the washer on, or yeah, needs to go a bit tighter. Okay, it's got an ordinary 5/16 washer, plain washer up there, up the spout, so act as a shim. It's a bit better. See, it's holding itself up now, so. feels pretty good. So we'll lock that off and then do the tabs. Should be tight enough. Okay. Yeah, it feels good. So same process again. So we'll do is finish cleaning that up and get it masked up, ready for spraying, and then we can stick it all together. Right, thanks for watching. Right, finally I'm going to got me de-rusted back plates. They had a few kinks in them, so I've straightened them. So I've got them ready to go. I've got the steering rack masked off with some bags. And the bits I want black to stay black there, so a rubber washer to cover up that seal. So we're just I'm going to do some rattle can etch again, and then we'll get her in some black. Alright guys, well that's the end of Saturday for me. This is steering racks painted. I'll leave that alone now for a day or so that the paint hardens off, so I can get the steering rack boots on, and the back plates are painted. So yeah, it's Mother's Day tomorrow, so I don't think we'll be allowed out in the garage. Anyway, yeah, so we'll like I say, that's it for me. Thank you for taking the time to watch my channel and subscribing and commenting when you do, so much appreciated. Thank you very much. See ya.